Hello, welcome back here into Caden's Weather Center. Right now paying attention to the tropics on the Central Pacific side this time, not the Atlantic. Right now we're paying attention to the possibility here for a tropical development from this tropical system right here that could impact possibly the Hawaiian Islands later on next, or the end of this week. We could be seeing something possibly heading for the Hawaiian Islands. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, but I want to take a look here what the National Hurricane Center is saying. This is 80% chance of the development in the next 7 days here. A low pressure has been located well east-southeast of the Hawaiian Islands here, and is continuing to look very, very organized and continuing to be better organized, as we can see. And then during the next few days, we will be expecting this storm to possibly become a tropical depression before it moves accelerating off to the west-northwest. So something to be paying attention to. This is its 7-day development area. Obviously, no one is in the 7-day development area, but it's expected to turn, and that's the question is when does that turn happen? We're going to have to keep an eye out on that. Taking a look here at the sea surface temperature anomalies, though, so a little bit more of a different scenario here. What has changed in the 7 days? Taking a look at what's changed in the past 7 days, not much, as we kind of can clearly see. We've seen a little bit more warmer temperatures over here, more of the northern part of this, and then we see a little bit of below average. So this storm will be going through a little bit more of a below average for the 7 days and the big 7-day change. This storm will be going through cooler temperatures than it was 7 days ago. So, but if we take a look here at what are the temperatures looking like and what are they expected to look like right now by this time of the year, very warm waters that are above average over here just north of the Hawaiian Islands here. A little bit of below average just south of the Hawaiian Islands. Very average kind of around the Hawaiian Islands too, though. But then, this storm will be heading into a little bit more of that sea surface temperature being above normal until the storm starts to reach into this area right here. So paying attention to that, the cooler temperatures are off just to the east of Hawaiian Islands, reaching 26 to 25, possibly even 24 degrees Celsius in the waters. So the more south it takes of a southern approach here, we could be seeing a possibly more of a stronger storm. Right now, not anticipating no major hurricane or anything like that, but that's at least some good news. Taking a look here at the intensity models, we kind of can see, though, the UK model bringing it still below anything forming here. The tropical storm, CMC is doing the same thing. The Icon brings it into a tropical storm, and then the GFS and the HWRF are bringing it into a possible 75-mile-an-hour Category 1 hurricane. That is a big possibility that we could be seeing as well as we go on throughout the next couple of days. The tracks that we're paying attention to, the GFS kinds of bring it a little bit more off to the eastern side here. So if the GFS was right and it brought it more off to the east here, that could change the whole track to make it more of an eastern track. Let's say that the HWRF was right, bringing it on more of the westward track. That could be keeping it away from the Hawaiian Islands, and we could be seeing a whole different track. So this storm definitely depends on when it could get pulled north and then off to the northwest, or the west-northwest. Something to pay attention to as we go on over here throughout the next couple of days. It's something to pay attention to. Majority of the models bringing in that motion, though, of where it comes close to the Hawaiian Islands. Something to be paying attention to, definitely. Taking a look here at the satellite loop, we can clearly see some pretty big convection starting to blow up here on the western side of this storm here. And then over here, just a couple of convection blowups are continuing on the east side. Not too much, though. So definitely there's that spin right in there. You kind of can see where that spin is. A little bit of a spin there. Not too strong of a storm, obviously, right now. Not the best looking for a tropical storm to develop, but we're going to keep an eye out, obviously, on this storm very, very closely here. So something that we're paying attention to very closely. So if we take a look here at the true color, it does seem like the sun is starting to rise over the storm, and already did a little bit, but we can clearly see there's that spin right there. There's our low pressure system right there, as this storm will get pulled off to the west-northwest eventually here, but getting pulled off to the north first. Kind of doesn't look like it's moving too quickly right now. You could probably see a little bit of jog off to the north right now, but we're going to keep an eye out, obviously, on that and see what the National Hurricane Center thinks as well. If we head into the water vapor, we can clearly see very dry air over here just to the north of this system. So right now it is sending in some very, very moist air, some very favorable environment, and that's the reason why we're seeing a lot of that thunderstorm activity more on the western side, but definitely starting to get a little bit more organized than it definitely was looking like yesterday. Let's take a look here at the GFS model here. This is one of the models we take a look at a lot. So here, as we can see, there's that there's that low pressure that the GFS is obviously seeing. GFS is a brand new 12Z run too. Keeps it over here, possibly 974 millibars. That's possibly a category 1, category 2 hurricane there. And then starts to weaken off as it starts to go in through the little bit more of unfavorable environment as the storm continues to push off to the west-northwest. Then kind of stalls out maybe a little bit here and then goes off to the north of the Hawaiian Islands. And I think we've been kind of seeing a trend of that a little bit. Does get blocked there before getting pulled off to the north. So this definitely, let's say this was right, we could be seeing a lot of storm surge possibly heading into the Big Island of Hawaii, but still lots of heavy rainfall from the southern part of the storm if the GFS was right. Taking a look here at their precipitation totals here according to the GFS heading into the 12Z, we kind of can clearly see majority of that rain, since the storm is keeping it off to the north, majority of that rain will most likely stay off to the north as the GFS continues to update here. We're going to keep an eye out on that very, very closely. Same thing with the Central Pacific here side for the European model. We can clearly see there's our storm looking pretty organized, 1,009 millibars here. We can clearly see it's expected. The Euro is expecting it by August 23rd to be a tropical storm here, not as organized as the GFS. And, you know, the European has not been doing so well this year on the intensity forecast, but the European model brings it kind of just more off the center off to the south here of the Hawaiian Islands, but still dumps heavy amounts of rain on the Hawaiian Islands. So the European saying a little bit more of a different scenario here than the GFS, bringing it more off to the south. So that is something we need to pay attention to. And then look at this. Another storm will go off over here to the, the storm will go off to the north, a little bit closer to the Hawaiian Islands than what I just drew there, but the Euro bringing it a little bit more off to the south than the GFS. Taking a look here at the European rainfall here, what are we anticipating? The European model anticipating the Big Island to really get hammered with a lot of rain here, which is still a possibility if that does happen. We're going to kind of see it as it gets pulled off. The question obviously is, does it go off to the north? Does it go off to the south here? Or kind of just does it go through the middle and does make a landfall in Hawaii? We don't usually see storms hit Hawaii, really, so it's a little bit of a rare type of situation that we're paying attention to. The question is the intensity, obviously, and where will it go? So we're going to have to keep an eye out, obviously, on that. If we take here kind of a look here at the CMC model, though, head back into the Central Pacific, take a look at the CMC model, as that's brand new 12Z, kind of keeping it kind of where that European model is bringing it as well. But look at this, there's another system that the CMC is picking up on after 240 hours. But if we head through the total accumulation right here, still heavy rain on the Big Island of Hawaii right there, so something to be paying attention to. And same if we look at the Icon model, we've been taking a look at all these models here. The Icon's updating as well with 12Z, keeping it pretty, maybe a little bit more south of Hawaii than the European and the CMC model, so that kind of would keep a little bit of a different scenario here for the rainfall not being too big of a system too, but keeping more of that rainfall off to the south of the island. So something to be paying attention to definitely as we go on over here throughout the next couple of hours. We're going to keep an eye out on these frequent updates here from the models, and we're also going to keep an update from the National Hurricane Center. So please make sure if you are living in Hawaii, you are keeping an eye out on this tropical system here on Invest 90E. Make sure to follow my X page down in the description, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day and stay safe out there. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.